This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today, once again, we're in Florida. I'm here with Diane Barrington. Since 2005, this five-star rated realtor brings her knowledge and contract expertise to your front door. Whether buying or selling, she has you covered. Diane, thanks so much for joining us here today. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. I mean, you really grew up in Canada. You made your way to the United States, very familiar with Florida. Share with me a little bit, how does a helicopter broker become a real estate agent and, shall we say, enjoy the ride? Share with me the journey.
So I did the helicopter business years ago. After 9/11, of course, they took away all of our landing zones. So I supplied the helicopters for the offshore powerboat races in the United States and Canada. I also did work for NASCAR in Daytona and Miami, and I actually ran the helipad for the Super Bowl in 1999 for the NFL. But after 9/11, you could only land helicopters at airports. So it really hindered a lot of the business that we did. And I said, okay, I need to find my next journey. So actually been a single mom. My son is 26 years old now, Connor, and always been a single mom. So always had a couple of gigs going on. And was working with somebody that got into real estate. And I said, oh, what's that? How do you do that? And got my license in 2005 and never looked back.
That is an exciting journey, chapter 2, if you will. I mean, you have lived really in the Sarasota area for over 2 decades. You have vast experience in Florida in general. You've lived there as well. The ups and downs of the Sarasota real estate market. Why does real estate continue to be a great investment? And why do you think it's still the American dream?
You know, I think Sarasota is a very special area. Obviously, you've got beautiful beaches on both coasts. The East Coast is very different to the West Coast. So came over to the West Coast, which I had started doing with the helicopters because we had a big race in Sarasota every year. And came over here, and it was kind of very different, just a little piece of paradise that at that time in 2002, only, smaller community, obviously, back then. And I said, wow, this is very different and unique. So when I did get into the real estate business, a lot of people would say, well, what does Sarasota have to offer? Well, we're in the top 5 for the #1 beach, in the country with Siesta Key Beach. We've got the arts, and we've got the theater, and we've got phenomenal chefs in our area, great restaurants, and A-rated schools. We've got Ringling University. Because if you do any type of research Googling about Lakewood Ranch, like I said, it's the #1 master plan community in the entire country. So we have our own hospital, we have our own fire stations, we have our own library, we have our own post office. We have, A1s, A+ schools, and 10,000 homes at the moment, 35,000 acres. And it's just a community where you can come into it. And if you don't want to leave the ranch, you don't have to. You've got everything at your fingertips. And it's very, very, it's amazing. Everybody's flocking here like crazy. So there's always a lot of draw over here. Even if the market, when it tanked in 2008, 9, 10, I became a short sell specialist, foreclosure specialist, because that's all that was out there at the time. So you just kind of have to meld yourself into whatever the market is doing at the time.
I trekked all over Florida last year, and I can tell you, I fell in love with the beaches. I'm probably going to end up back. I mean, you truly are able to help anyone, whether buying or selling, from the seasoned investor all the way to the first-time home buyer. I understand this is an exciting time for the first-time home buyers, but can it also be frustrating? And are you able to help them kind of hold their hand along that journey?
I think the most important thing with first-time home buyers is starting off with an amazing lender. So I work with a couple of lenders that are just phenomenal with first-time home buying programs, and just sitting them down and saying, okay, so I know you're excited. I know this is going to be fun, and I'm going to try and make it a really fun time and exciting time for you, but we're going to hit a lot of speed bumps. We're going to fall in love with a house, put an offer in. We're not going to get that house. And we're going to find something better. But then there's, the stream of paperwork that's needed and, for the lender and this, that, and the other, and coming up with closing costs and so on and so forth. So it can be a very terrifying journey, even though the end is all, when you hand them those keys, there's nothing better. But I like to take it step by step. I have a process, like I said, a whole team behind me of people that I work with, and we make it as pain-free as possible.
That is exciting. I mean, for a homeowner out there who's thinking of maybe possibly selling, why is this a good time?
Well, it's a good time to sell your home right now if you have another home to go to. So, or if you have like kids that you want to go live with because, there's nowhere else to go at the moment and you want to cash in on what the market is doing. A lot of people selling and making, a ridiculous amount of profit over what they paid a couple of years ago. But unless you have somewhere else to go, then we have a conundrum. Yes, you're going to make a lot of money on what you're going to sell, but also the prices have increased significantly. So we need to find you something to move into. And then lots of times people with new construction, they have that space in between selling and the new construction being completed. So then you're trying to look for a rental, and rentals are over the moon at the moment. So it's been a challenge, absolutely, for every single, every individual.
Very realistic and practical advice, obviously. When the market is hot like this, I mean, it's tempting for an owner out there to stick an FSBO sign on their front yard. But why is it more important than ever, really, to go with a professional?
It's really funny. It's that you brought that up because I had that conversation with a FSBO gentleman this morning. And he did not want to pay the buyer's side. I mean, fine, you want to list it yourself, but will you pay me my brokerage fee? Because I am essentially going to do both ends of the deal for you. And he said, no, we're good. We're just going to do it by ourselves. Well, you're always going to run into snafus, making sure that the person is qualified, making sure that you're following along with the lender, making sure that you know the guidelines to the commitment dates and how long they have for their loan, to come to fruition and so on and so forth. And there's all different kinds of inspections that people should have and they don't when they just want to deal with a FSBO. Oh, I did a home inspection. What do you mean termites? We don't have termites up north. Was I supposed to get an inspection done on the pool? So on and so forth. So all different kinds of things, getting insurance, making sure that, you have your 4-point inspection done or your wind mitigation done for the for the insurance company. So there's all kinds of things that go into it. People think that we slap a sign in the ground and the money just rolls in, and we work very hard for our money. And the commission amount that they see on those closing documents also does not go straight into our bank account. We have brokerage fees, we have taxes, we have, other things that we pay out of that as well.
As I sit down with realtors every year, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts that you guys deal with. There's so much that go on behind the scenes. It's amazing. Being a professional photographer for years, people want to go out and photograph their own weddings. And I said, that's great, as long as you don't run into any problems. And that's true. That's where the professional really shines, is when the fact that any problems that arise, that's when you're able to come in, because you do this day in and day out. I mean, obviously the professional like yourself, they know the market. Are you able to assist people out there when it comes to putting the right price on that house to make sure that they get the best bang for their dollar, yet at the same time, stay realistic?
So that's a good question, especially these days because of the comps that are out there. And you look at them and you try to figure out, how am I going to price this home? Because the house next door sold 2 months ago for $2 million. And the one next door is under contract right now for 1.5, 1 month, 2 months later. Where is the market right now? Comps have been all over the place for the past year and a half. I always like to tell my sellers, let's not try and stretch it. Let's not get greedy. Let's put a proper price on this that's going to make you happy, that makes sense for you to sell your home at this time, and go from there. I think the greedy seller is always the one that loses in the end.
In a market, regardless if it's hot or not hot, basically having the strategies to help a home stand out in the real estate market. Do you feel that ReMax, being a leader in the industry, they have the tools, technology, as well as the leadership to really make that happen?
You know what they say, Gary, no one sells more real estate than ReMax. So, we are the largest real estate company in the world. And whenever you list a home with a ReMax agent, it goes directly onto ReMax.com. And it's almost as comparable to Zillow. People always go to realtor.com, they'll go to Zillow, and they also go to ReMax.com. So I think working with a ReMax agent has a huge advantage.
That is interesting. With years of experience, you probably also have put together quite a network of other professionals. Like you said earlier, a team from mortgage people to maybe even contractors that you can recommend. Is that something that you pride yourself on, that you're basically able to answer those questions along the way?
That's one of the things that I like to talk to my sellers and my buyers about. I start with the lender. I have a wonderful transaction coordinator that takes us step by step and keeps on top of deadlines and constantly in contact with my buyers or sellers. I have inspectors that I use on a regular basis. And then we start going to vendors. So I have handymen and I have contractors. I have engineers if necessary. And then once you get the house, I've got the guy that wants to come and hang up your ceiling fans, or I've got the cleaning company. So yes, I have a plethora of people that move in and help anybody.
I always say when you pick a realtor, make sure you do a little bit of due diligence, because you're getting more than just the realtor. You're getting their entire team that they have built up throughout the years. As a 5-star realtor, the skills that you've had to develop obviously are listening to the needs of your client. Do you enjoy getting to know them and realize that one size doesn't fit all?
So I want to say that in the years that I've been doing this, I have a running joke with a lot of my clients because so many of them become close friends. And then when they turn around and introduce me to somebody, they go, "Oh, this is my friend Diane. Yeah, she was our realtor. She just never left." So I want to say, like, most of my closest friends were clients and become good friends and refer me to other people. And I end up doing multiple transactions with those people. So it's what I enjoy the most. I'm a people person. I love having people in my car, driving them around, looking at different properties. I know Lakewood Ranch like the back of my hand. I've lived here in Lakewood Ranch for 17 years. And giving the tour, I think I do a better tour of Lakewood Ranch than when you go to the information center.
That's exciting. I mean, nothing more exciting than a first-time home buyer getting a home, but also for the investor getting their first investment. From that initial phone call to the closing table, how important is communication? And are you able to kind of walk them through the process and kind of help them sleep at night?
One of the things that my clients tell me the most is the response time that I give them. I always have my phone with me. I think one of the most annoying things that I deal with in my line of work is calling other realtors and they don't answer their phones or they don't respond to text messages. And I'm standing in one of their listings trying to get a question answered, and I can't get a hold of anybody. So just last night, I had someone call and say, "Hey, we have that closing next week. Do I need an attorney?" And I said, "Absolutely not. We're already where we're at. We don't use attorneys all the time in Florida, mostly title companies. We're good to go." And her following response was, "It's 10 past 10, and you always answer my questions immediately. Thank you for that." So that's one of my, I want to say, forte.
That is nice. And you've been voted 5-star rated Sarasota premier agent year after year. As a past helicopter broker, you realize in real estate, the sky's the limit. Do you enjoy helping others succeed and get their dream home or investment? Does this continue to be rewarding for you?
Like I said before, there's nothing more enjoyable than handing those keys over and seeing a young couple having a first time, home buying experience, or even somebody that's had multiple homes, just getting that deal done, moving on to the next one, knowing that it was a smooth transaction, knowing that I was a part of every single facet of the entire deal. So yes, it's very satisfying.
That is great. A great second chapter for you. We're happy to introduce you to the folks out in Florida. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website is the complete contact information you're going to need to reach out. Take a look at the featured listings, past transactions she's done. You can also take a look at the testimonials there as well. But obviously, catch up with her as well on her Facebook page. There she's going to give you tips as well as ideas when it comes to maybe staging your home, seeing how the market is is moving, that type of thing. Basically, this is Diane Barrington in Sarasota, Florida. Since 2005, this 5-star rated realtor bringing her knowledge and contract expertise to your front door. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.